Horror uses sound to unnerve us, but sometimes silence itself can be a form of horror that's far more menacing. Alien Monday is a short animated film inspired by the original Alien, which I came across completely randomly. Though I'm a little late to the party, I want to talk about this film because what it does so effectively in its short time frame is build upon what the first Alien movie did with silence and stillness. This short leans heavily into both, creating an atmosphere that would make Ridley Scott proud. It doesn't reinvent the alien, a creature many of us know far too well. Instead, it pushes further into the claustrophobic horror that made Alien so memorable. Alien Monday opens with panning shots of a spaceship's interior, creating a sense of calm before the storm. It uses familiar organic sounds like when alien eggs hatch, and the monster blends into its environment very much like the original. It's both a homage while also being its own creature, as a blend of 2D and 3D animation gives it a unique twist. We meet our main character, Ashlyn, as she awakes from cryosleep, drinks coffee, prepares for what should be a normal Monday aboard a spaceship. This is where we get a big departure from the first movie. The short runtime means that the film doesn't waste time reintroducing us to the alien. We skip from a normal day with Ashlyn into direct horror. It adds life to a pretty rundown franchise. But what's more, it adds to the immersion of horror because we experience everything alongside Ashlyn. Animation is able to replicate the stillness of the original because many shots are simply stills. But the movie also uses 3D at key moments to add a sense of dynamic danger. When Ashlyn runs from the egg as it hatches, the 3D animation is scarier because you feel like something is going to jump out at her. It creates a sense of building tension, which we'd expect from a moment of horror. And it's this use of lively 3D animation which makes the following moment all the more unsettling. Ashlyn collapses outside the room with the egg, trying to calm herself. At first the hall is empty, but in the next shot we see the alien. Crouched like it had always been there. No sound announces its presence, and Ashlyn experiences this moment of terror, the fear on her face really selling just how frightening this would be. From 3D, we return to still shots in 2D, which creates a great contrast as it shows the audience where the real terror lurks. The alien stands, sees her and hisses. Much like the original, it blends into the ship, but here it truly feels like a part of space itself, something that was always lurking aboard the ship. I think that's a clever thing the animators understand, just how much fear comes from the idea of the alien simply existing on the spaceship, a place that should be for humans. And by having Ashlyn wake, eat, and wonder about the ship with no awareness of the danger on board, it really highlights that we don't belong here. We learn from the computer that her crewmate has been dead for 3 days, and yet, presumably, life on the ship continued in eerie silence. The alien killed and lived on the ship while the humans slept. And this theme is made into its own horrifying scene as the captain is killed just as he wakes from cryosleep. Probably the best creative idea in this short. Humans are helpless and unwelcome, to a degree which I think is made stronger in this short film because of how quickly things unravel. The alien is already here and death is already certain. Later, Ashlyn tracks the alien using security cameras. This is my second favourite part of the short. We watch alongside her as the alien moves about the ship. Being animated gives this scene a dreamlike quality and makes it truly unsettling in a way that I don't think would work in a live action. The alien becomes phantom-like. It stalks through corridors, slowly moving like an apparition. When it finds a way into Ashlyn's room, it enters with zero noise. Not only does this lack of sound feel wrong for such a massive creature, but it makes the alien seem unreal, like a nightmare brought to life. And for Ashlyn, it only adds to her vulnerability, because there's little she can do about what's happening. In this moment, she's just an observer, watching the thing that might kill her make its way towards her. The fact that the computer did nothing about the alien only makes the spaceship itself feel cold and dangerous. The creature seems almost born of the ship, finding its way into any area it wants without any disturbance. What's more ghost-like than that? The most intense action takes place outside, as Ashlyn realises she must get to the drilling ship, which is now drifting out into space. As she makes the daring decision to jump, she passes the alien which snaps at her, the action entirely soundless. It makes the alien eerie, using elements of stillness and silence to create a sense of unfamiliarity to a monster we know well. And if we view the alien as a symbol of space itself, then this scene makes the connection clearest. Aisling gives herself up to the lack of gravity, essentially giving herself up to space itself. And in the end, Aisling is consumed by space itself. She may escape the creature, but she lives on borrowed time, her oxygen levels running low. Space, in its vast, cold and uncaring silence, is the true killer. The alien may be the face of horror, but the real enemy is the void, a place where death is inevitable and the human spirit cannot survive. It's a still, uncaring universe, a theme we saw explored in the original Alien, which takes centre stage here. And so space and the monster are intimately linked at this moment. The lack of sound makes the alien feel less like a creature that entered the ship and more like a natural extension of space itself, the black void of space intruding upon human life. Or the void of space given shape, and that shape has teeth. Alien Monday brings silence to the forefront and makes it even more menacing. In horror, darkness is often used because what we don't see is scarier than what we do. In this short, silence is terrifying because of what it denies us, what we don't hear. It becomes suffocating, making scary scenes linger. It refuses to give us relief. And here, silence is hostile, the uncaring void of space embodied by the alien. In space, no one can hear you scream. And in horror, not hearing those screams only makes the terror that much louder.